Greetings viewer, Eric the Car Guy here again with some more fun, exciting auto repair videos. Today I have a 1996 Mitsubishi Eclipse, that guy back there. It's having some difficulty starting. I already know why. I'm going to show you. First, let's start with what it's doing, because it's kind of weird and kind of fun. To the car. Alright, so you go to crank this thing over and this is what you get. Of course it works now. So you go to crank this thing over and this is what you get. It's having some issues. And guess what? Somebody's already done some work to it. Let's take a look. Okay, and under the hood, this is what we find. There is a brand new battery that's been installed. There is also a brand new starter that's been installed, yet we're still having a problem with it starting. I did not install these, by the way, but I think I know what the problem is, and it's pretty much right there. I hate these battery terminals, and not sure what's going on there and all that kind of stuff. But I'm gonna say it's a good bet that what we got here is a problem with this battery terminal. Oh, look, that one's not even tight. Lovely. Okay, so the battery cables need to be secure. Number one, to make a good electrical connection, but also this type of thing right here is bad news. In fact, these wires are warm to the touch. So I know I got just sick resistance going through there. But let's show that with a voltage drop test. All right, just for the heck of it, let's see how much voltage we have in the battery. It's 12.6, we'll call it, which is excellent for static charge of the battery. All right, the DVOM is hooked up. It is on the 20 volt voltage scale is what I put it on, because we're dealing with a 12 volt automotive system, so putting it on 20 volts should give us exactly what we need. I'm on the positive terminal there, and I'm on the positive terminal on the starter. And I'm gonna crank the engine and we'll do a voltage drop to find out how much voltage we are losing between there and the starter. I will now crank the engine. That's a lot. I just reviewed the footage from this. I was doing it earlier and I was getting like 1.8 or somewhere above that, and I even saw in the footage that I just reviewed almost 3 volts was being lost in that cable that runs from the battery down to the starter. And basically with the voltage drop, it's exactly what the name implies. That's how much voltage is going away between the battery and the starter itself. So if I've got that 12.6 that I started out with, by the time it gets down to the starter with that 1-2 voltage drop, it's 11, 10, 9 volts, which is hardly enough to do anything. And let's not forget that there's also amps that need to flow through there too. And I'm pretty sure they aren't, because that connection is garbage. So I'm gonna clean up that connection, do what I can with those cables. The fact that they're all discolored like that says that this problem's been going on for a while. So to do this right, I say we need to replace all those cables. But I seriously doubt the owner of this vehicle is going to go there. So I think it's just going to be cleaning it up and sending it on its way. But my point is before you go and replace a starter, or before you go and replace a battery, do like I showed in that Starter Diagnosis 101 video, do a voltage drop, because it very well may be that all you got to do is clean connections up. So why don't I go through, clean this stuff up, and then redo the test, and first see if it starts normally, and second, if it does start normally, let's see how much voltage we can lose, or we will lose, between the starter and battery then. Let's get all scientific on it. Since this is so loose, I can just take off my ground cable, which that's very convenient, because I really don't want to do any arcing over here. But if memory serves, these are 7/16 bolts that hold these on. So I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm gonna clean this area here where the cables go in, but I'm also gonna clean up this connection, because this in here can get kind of corroded. cause some increased resistance. And that's what we're doing here, is we're trying to eliminate the increased resistance that's caused by this poor connection. And well, this wiring here obviously doesn't look so great either. But the reason why I believe it to be all discolored like this is because it's been functioning like this for a while with this increased resistance, and this increased resistance is going to equate to some heat, which is going to cause this discoloration. So if you see this kind of thing around your battery post and your car's not starting, why not start here before you start buying anything? And sometimes these have like flimsy little nuts on the underside, so that's why I'm keeping my finger. All right, now look at all this dark stuff right here. That is not a clean connection at all. So I've got a wire brush. I'm also going to do down inside this little valley here on the terminal. And lastly, I'm going to go get my battery terminal cleaner. I'm going to go down inside there and clean that out also. I have a special tool just for this. Now look at that. Much better. And just for the heck of it, let's do this also. Now this guy's brand new, but I'm going to do it anyway. All right, now that we're all clean and pretty, I'm going to reinstall my battery cable. Tighten the connection. I'm going to take all my wires, get them back down in here. Now experience has taught me not to tighten these too much or you can strip them out, so be careful. That's about as far as I dare go. Now let's put our ground cable back on and tighten that up. This cable really doesn't want to tighten up like I'd love to see it tighten up. So I'm going to take it off. Deform this a little bit so that it wants to fit on there a little bit tighter. Believe it or not, this does work. This is really soft metal. You can also use a pair of pliers or something, but I'm just using this because it's handy. And it's already more difficult to get on, which is what I want. That's much, much better. Now I'll set up for my voltage drop test again. I still have my negative lead on the positive lead going to the starter here. All right, let's see what the drop is now. Okay, I just reviewed the footage and that was like 0.18 I think was the highest, but it was about 1/10 of a volt. Which, okay, given the age and of the wire and the fact that it's been abused like that, you should see pretty much as close to 0 as possible. You are going to get some voltage drop through there, but like 1, 2, 3 volts as a voltage drop through there is ridiculous. So, and as you can see, I can consistently start the vehicle now. So I'm going to say pretty much that was the problem. It was all down to connections. And that's basically the moral of this story, is if you don't have good electrical connections at your battery, nothing works right. And I mean nothing, because everything starts and ends at that battery. And if that battery doesn't have good connections, well, your electrical system is all out of whack. So take the time, check those connections, and if you have to use those battery terminals, I mean, if you have to use those battery terminals, use them. Other than that, avoid them like the plague, because you will have to, as a maintenance item, go back and clean them up from time to time, because they do get oxidized and they do just, they're just, I hate them. Okay, I'll just come out and say it. I hate those battery connections because I see stuff like this and them go together almost hand in hand. So take that with a grain of salt. If you love those battery connections, well, good for you. Well, let's face it, they're cheap, but you know what? You get what you pay for when it comes to auto repair, I'm telling you. Anyway, I am Eric the Car Guy. You can always find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+, and always, always, always at EricTheCarGuy.com, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's so much fun. You should go there and hang out. I'm going to leave you with, be safe, have fun, stay dirty, and keep your electrical connections clean. Have a nice day.